What's up, guys? Adam here with Anabolic Climbing, and today we are going to talk about Ostarine, aka MK2688. I've heard some folks trying it out in the climbing community. I've had some of you guys asking about it, so let's talk about it. Should you run it? Should you not run it? What are the risks? What are the side effects? What are things to look for? Could it potentially be done safely, and what could you do to potentially mitigate some of the downsides if you're going to run it? So before we jump in, one of the main reasons I don't love SARMs is they're relatively untested. Not a single SARM or selective androgen receptor modulator has made it through FDA clinical trials. And while there's more clinical data on Ostarine than any other SARM, it has only made it to phase 2 trials, and I don't think it has made it further than that. You have clinical data on about 1,500 people, some rodent models, and while it seems to be semi-tolerable, there are a few drawbacks that we need to be mindful of if running it even in a short duration. So why on paper are folks interested in running Ostarine and SARMs in general? As the name suggests, it seems to target the androgen receptor directly, not necessarily going through the hormone pathways. And in that, it seems like it would be ideal for both men and women. And while women can seem to tolerate low doses of Ostarine probably better than men do, the issue is you could still experience realization at higher doses. It does impact positively power output. It does improve collagen synthesis and joint health. It doesn't seem to impact cardio, and anecdotally it doesn't improve neuromuscular feedback, which is all awesome for climbers. And milligram for milligram, it seems to be better than DECA or nandrolone decanoate, which is fine. But while yes, milligram for milligram, it might be more anabolic than DECA, you can run up to a gram of DECA. I've never heard of anyone running a gram daily or a gram a week of Ostarine. That would be bananas. So if it has these upsides, why are not more people singing the praises of Ostarine and other SARMs? And the first is, if you were to run a SARM-only cycle, it is extraordinarily suppressive. You will definitely, and in short order, shut down your HPTA axis and basically crash your test and estrogen into the ground. And because it binds to the SHBG, it makes it harder to use whatever testosterone is still in your system. And you can see that from several different rounds of blood work from bodybuilders and teenagers that have tried stuff like this. What would you be looking at for side effects on Ostarine? And is it something that seems manageable or seems like a thing that is interesting? Well, it's the usual ones that you get for anabolics. You'd have acne, hair loss, lethargy, jaundice. All orals are liver toxic. Gyno, impaired libido, probably from your HPTA suppression and having estradiol and testosterone crash into the ground. Testicular atrophy, high blood pressure, headaches, infertility, lower back pumps, depression. And because it shuts you down so quickly, it is not something I would run on its own. While yes, hypothetically, if you had a single project day outside, could you run Ostarine for a day or two to try to send it before you go back home? Yes, that is a thing you could do. However, the issue is that even at 0.1 or 0.2 milligrams, you're already going to start seeing HPTA suppression and SHBG binding. So it would still be wise to at least be taking something like an HCG or a testosterone base. So now that we've briefly talked about the side effects, what would we expect on our blood work? And it's the usual thing that you'd expect for orals. Skewed lipid parameters like high HDL and low LDL, kidney impairment, SHBG getting hit really hard, HPTA suppression, so you'd have extraordinarily low testosterone and estradiol. And in the liver functions, you get an elevated AST and low alkaline levels, which is synonymous with liver impairment. So if you ran it in a short duration, And if you had a testosterone or an HCG race, you could mitigate the main side effects of the HPTA suppression, and you'd have more estradiol and testosterone in your system, which would probably do a lot as far as mitigating the test, or that's gonna give you some, or the test would give you some testicular atrophy. You could potentially mitigate some of the gyno with just having baseline levels of test and estrogen, and you would be taking the test exogenously, so you wouldn't have to worry about getting gyno on the PCT. It would probably assist with the lethargy, or the lethargy. I don't know if it would help with your acne or your hair loss. It could potentially speed both of those up, but I have not ran SARMS, so I could not tell you. And if you're going to sign up for lower back pumps, why are you not taking Anavar, or why are you not taking another anabolic that's way more studied? I think it's worth a test if you are running testosterone, which is something I'll be doing next month. I probably wouldn't run it on an HCG only. It seems pretty darn harsh, especially at the dosing that I'd want to try it at, which, while it's studied in up to 18 milligrams daily, and I'd be happy testing it between like 10 to 20, maybe up to 30 for like limited daily usage for, you know, trying to do a project on, like a bouldering project that's a few moves on an outdoor trip. Could it have its place? It could. Honestly, it could if you took care of having a test base or an HCG race. There could be use for it. I don't love SARMs because there isn't a ton of research. If you do decide to go down the SARMs route, I would highly encourage you to try to mitigate some of the impacts on both the hormones by taking yours exogenously, as well as running your citrus bergamot, your berberine, your omega-3s, your carnitine to try to help the kidney function and liver parameters. And if you did that, you could probably run it and do okay for yourself. I don't love it. I might test it for science, but all in all, it may be one of those tools that sees rare deployment but might have a place in your arsenal. I don't have any long-term data on running SARMs for anything beyond a couple of weeks. I don't recommend doing so. If you want to try it and report back, God bless. Definitely get your blood work on this one. Definitely run your test base. And yeah, that's kind of a very quick TLDR with Ostarine. That said, leave a like and subscribe, comment down for the algorithm health. I am Adam with Anabolic Climbing, about to go crush some KBBQ because it's my wife's birthday. But big hugs, you guys. Appreciate you. Adam with Anabolic Climbing, signing off.